The name Ronnie James Dio evokes an immediate and powerful image, the undisputed voice of metal, a diminutive figure commanding colossal stages with an operatic bellow, wielding fantastical lyrics about rainbows in the dark, sacred hearts, and holy divers. His legacy, forged in the fires of Rainbow Black Sabbath and his own eponymous band, is monumental and seemingly eternal. Yet, like any towering figure, Dio's brilliance didn't emerge fully formed from the void. It was honed, refined, and tested in the crucible of obscurity, long before the world knew his name. To truly appreciate the magnitude of his talent, we must journey back, before the platinum records and headlining tours, to the forgotten corners of his pre-fame career. There, buried beneath decades of subsequent legend, lies a song, often overlooked, rarely discussed outside deep-dive fan circles, that serves as an undeniable Rosetta Stone. An Angel is Missing, recorded with his band Elf around 1972-1974. This track, a seemingly unassuming relic, crackles with the nascent energy and unmistakable hallmarks of a vocal and lyrical genius in embryo, proving that Dio's special talent was not a product of fame, but the very engine that drove him towards it. Before he became synonymous with metal mythology, Ronnie James Padavona was a working musician navigating the gritty, unforgiving landscape of the American rock and roll circuit. His journey began in the late 1950s and stretched through the entire 1960s, a period of relentless gigging, shifting band names, Ronnie the Rumblers, Ronnie the Redcaps, Ronnie Dio, and the Prophets, and stylistic exploration largely confined to the northeastern United States, particularly around Cortland, New York. This was the essential apprenticeship. It was here that the young singer shed any remaining vestiges of doo-wop crooning, evident in very early recording. It was like Conquest with the Redcaps, and began cultivating the powerful blues-infused rock voice that would become his signature. The formation of Elf in the late 1960s, initially called the Electric Elves, later shortened after a tragic car accident, marked a crucial pivot. While still rooted in hard-edged blues rock, Elf allowed Dio, now firmly established as the frontman, songwriter, and bassist, greater creative freedom. The band featured guitarist David Feinstein, Dio's cousin, keyboardist Mickey Lee Soul, drummer Gary Driscoll, and later guitarist Steve Edwards. They gigged relentlessly, building a reputation as a formidable live act, known for Dio's astonishing vocal power. Their big break came when they impressed Roger Glover and Ian Pace of Deep Purple, leading to the band being taken under the wing of Purple's management and securing a record deal with Purple's own label, Purple Records. Elf released 3 albums between 1972 and 1975. Elf, 1972, Carolina County Ball, 1974, and Trying to Burn the Sun, 1975. These albums are fascinating artifacts. They showcase a band clearly influenced by Deep Purple's hard rock and boogie, but infused with a distinct, almost baroque bluesiness, and, crucially, the burgeoning lyrical and vocal identity of Ronnie James Dio. While the production sometimes feels thin by modern standards, and the songwriting occasionally derivative of their mentors, Dio's voice consistently cuts through, a force of nature even then, brimming with power, control, and a unique, resonant timbre. It's within this context, likely during the sessions for their debut or sophomore album, that An Angel is Missing was recorded. An Angel is Missing never found a home on an official Elf studio album during their initial run. It surfaced later, a treasure for collectors, appearing on compilations like the Gargantuan Elf album, 1978, and later reissues. This obscurity, however, makes its contents even more startling. From the opening notes, it signals something different from Elf's more straightforward boogie rockers like Hoochie Coochie Lady or Carolina County Ball. The song immediately establishes a darker, more melancholic, and introspective atmosphere than much of Elf's catalog. There's a sense of yearning, loss, and a touch of the Gothic that feels distinctly premonitory of Dio's future work. The tempo is slower, more deliberate, allowing the mood to breathe. This is where the revelation truly begins. Dio's voice here is phenomenal. The power is undeniable. He belts with a clarity and force that could shatter glass, effortlessly riding over the band. But it's the control and the expression that are jaw-dropping. He navigates complex melodic lines with precision, employing subtle vibrato and masterful dynamic shifts. He moves from a near whisper of sorrow to soaring, sustained notes of anguish and longing, all within the same verse. Listen closely, and you hear the embryonic forms of those iconic Dio vocal techniques, the controlled power, the dramatic phrasing, the ability to convey immense emotion through tonal shifts. He's not just singing, he's performing, pouring raw feeling into every syllable. It's a masterclass in blues rock vocal delivery that transcends the genre. While Elf lyrics often dealt with love, loss, and rock and roll life in fairly conventional terms, An Angel Is Missing takes a significant leap. The title itself evokes a sense of the metaphysical, the celestial gone awry. Lines like, "Heaven's gates are open wide, but there's no one there to greet me," and the recurring lament, "An angel is missing and gone away," delve into themes of abandonment, spiritual desolation, and searching for something lost beyond the mundane. This isn't the fully formed Dragons and Dungeons Dio yet, but it's the undeniable genesis. It's the moment where his lyrical imagination begins reaching beyond the earthly confines of blues rock cliches towards the more evocative, symbolic, and fantastical landscapes he would later conquer. He's exploring loss not just as personal heartbreak, but as a cosmic dislocation. The imagery is more poetic, more suggestive, hinting at the mythic storyteller he would become. Musically, the track provides a perfect, moody foundation. The arrangement is relatively sparse compared to Elf's more frantic numbers, giving Dio's voice ample space. The bluesy guitar licks, likely Feinstein or Edwards, are tasteful and mournful. The keyboards, soul, add a layer of melancholic texture, and the rhythm section, Dio on bass, Driscoll on drums, lays down a solid, slow-burning groove that emphasizes the song's emotional weight. The solo section builds tension effectively, allowing Dio to return with even greater vocal intensity. The structure itself, the build and release, the dynamic contrasts, showcases a more sophisticated approach to songwriting than Elf typically displayed. The song irrefutably demonstrates that Dio possessed an extraordinary world-class rock voice years before Rainbow or Sabbath. The power, range, control, and emotive depth were fully operational. He wasn't developed by Ritchie Blackmore or Tony Iommi. They recognized and harnessed a pre-existing, fully formed vocal powerhouse. This wasn't potential. This was prowess.